The Muppets have returned 50 years later to bring about The Muppet Show once more. This is created by Seth Rogan, starring, of course, The Muppets, guest starring Sabrina Carpenter, as well as Maya Rudolph, and once again, Seth Rogan. This revival slash TV special of The Muppet Show is about the Muppets returning once again to the original theater to perform one show in honor of the original Muppet Show airing 50 years prior, and it may be a backdoor pilot into a potential full series, which if you are a Muppet fan, it's what you want. In all seriousness, let's talk about this movie and help you decide whether or not it's the right one to watch as a Christian right now. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm your host Tim, and we exist to help Christians live in the world, not of the world, by utilizing our convictions in the movies and shows we watch. This Muppet Show revival TV special thing is rated TV PG. We're going to dive into any convictions you may have that may prevent you from watching the Muppet Show, any theological themes present within it, and wrap it up with my own personal thoughts on this episode TV special thing. I don't really know what to call it because we don't know the future of the Muppets right now. But all that to say, let's dive into the Christian conviction meter. The Christian conviction meter is 5 convictions that may distract or hinder your relationship with Jesus. This is a resource to help you figure out whether or not the Muppet Show aligns with the convictions that God has given you. Kicking things off with violence and gore here, Muppets are tossed, thrown, attacked, a bunch of different things. There's a lot of chaos that happens within this show, as to be expected from the Muppets in general. We are going to give this a 1 out of 5, just to be on the safe side here. A lot of it's very kind of play easy, nothing super crazy or intense, because that is not the Muppet style. It's meant to be zany, wacky, and a bit goofy. What is also the Muppet style is having some more kind of adult humor as we move into the lust category. The biggest thing we see here is Sabrina Carpenter mentioning that she likes a kink after Kermit talks about how they're a little bit rusty, there's a few kinks they need to iron out, and then she says what she says there. Of course, there are also a few other innuendos that are a part of this TV special, but that is in line with the Muppets. Sesame Street, very much meant for kids. The Muppets aren't necessarily that. They have a bit of adult humor throughout of it. In fact, the original episode of The Muppet Show was called Sex and Violence, so that is something to keep in mind. All that to say, we are going to give this a 1 out of 5, just to be on the safe side here. Our next category is substances, and there is a bar scene in which Sabrina Carpenter has one of her musical numbers, and we do see a few alcoholic beverages around, and it's several Muppets looking pretty sluggish. But of course, it is a Muppet, so it could just be how they're made. In all seriousness, though, there is that throughout this sequence within the TV special, so we are going to give this a 1 out of 5, once again, to be on the safe side here. Our next category is profanity, and the most we see here is going to be a few OMGs. The Muppets do not curse whatsoever, or at least I haven't found anything yet that they curse. But in all seriousness, there isn't anything here, like I said, except for a few OMGs. Just to be on the safe side here, we'll give it a 1 out of 5. And our last category is intense/horror scenes. This is not a horror special in any way, shape, or form. The Muppets don't really do horror-esque stuff, and the last time they did that was a Christmas movie. That was for NBC, and it was really weird. There's nothing here. There's no intensity, there's no horror images contained within this. If we want to really throw anything in there, Gonzo does a really ridiculous stunt, but I wouldn't really call that intense. It's about in line with what he's done in previous Muppet movies and shows and all of that. So all of that to say, we are going to give this last category a 0 out of 5. Our grand total on the conviction meter is going to be 4 out of 25. While it is pretty low on the conviction meter here, I do want to preface, though, once again, that the Muppets are not inherently designed for all ages. When Jim Henson created the Muppets, it was meant for more adult, mature audiences, not to necessarily deal with or do crazy adult things, but to throw some gags, throw some more adult humor, with the use of the Muppets. Essentially, what he was thinking is that puppetry is for everyone, right? Sesame Street, it's meant for specifically kids to help them grow, learn, develop. Muppets were not that. It was just meant for something, turn on the TV and just watch something very simple and easy and laugh a little bit. And that's the whole point of the Muppets. So all of that to say, if anything we talked about compromises your convictions in any way, shape, or form, don't worry about watching The Muppet Show. No show, special, movie is worth compromising your convictions over. So make sure to follow in those as they are God-given. Speaking of which, that leads us into our next topic as we dive into some theological themes that are present within The Muppet Show. And truthfully, there really isn't anything here. I've never really seen The Muppets to have any sort of Christian religious ties whatsoever. The most we do kind of see is when they do like the Christmas Carol, but that's really about it. And that really shouldn't come off surprising. The Muppets have not really dealt with religion in any way, shape, or form. They just like to keep things lighthearted, humor, all of that sort of stuff. So with that wrapped up, it's time to dive into what I think of the Muppet Show revival. And I gotta tell you, it was exactly what I was hoping for. As I've gotten older, have enjoyed the Muppets. I'm actually still currently going through the Muppet Show. It was supposed to be this week, but life has gotten very much in the way as of late, so sorry about that. But the Muppet Show is just one of those iconic pieces of television history, and it has a very set formula, and they do not deviate at all from that formula in this special, and that really is awesome. It's full of musical numbers, a bit of dance numbers, some weird comedy bits, all the things you would expect from a Muppet Show you see within this. We even get a Muppet News Flash, which is great. Gonzo does a crazy stunt. Miss Piggy tries to shine in all her glory. You know, Kermit is struggling to put things together. All the things you would expect happens in this. Plus, we get some surprising returns and things as well. Of course, recently, the Muppets did post about the return of Rizzo the Rat and Bean Buddy, who is being played by the same puppeteer. That was a pleasant surprise, and I'm so excited and so happy that both of these characters are back, as they've been missing since some changes happened to the Muppets back in the early 2010s, with Steve Whitmire getting canned. Of course, the guest star is Sabrina Carpenter. I'm not the craziest fan of her, but I think she fit very well with the Muppets here, just in humor and tone, and the things she said within the special here, for the most part, was solid, and that goes as a compliment to the script. Overall was very solid. It felt very much like a classic Muppet Show episode, which was, I believe, the intensive and purpose point, and I'm so glad they did that. I didn't want them to deviate any way, shape, or form from the formula that made the Muppets the Muppets. And so happy about that. I got to see all of my favorite Muppets in this one, which was great, even if it was a little bit of a cameo from a few of them. But yeah, it was wacky, it was zany, it was silly. There was a lot of great moments where it was just able to laugh. But that's what the Muppets are. They're meant to be an easy watch. They're not meant to make you think or make you cry or make you super emotional or, provoke too many thoughts. It's just meant to be something you sit, watch, you laugh a little bit. It brings you a little bit of happiness in the day. And that is the point of the Muppets, and I'm so glad that's the route they went. Overall, I'm giving it an 8.7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this special, and I am praying that Disney decides to make this a full-on show, that they give us however many episodes they want to do in this first season, that this just continues to be a thing, because the Muppets have been underutilized, especially in the last decade, and so to see them kind of return a little bit to form will be spectacular, and I'm really hoping they continue to go further, because this could be like Disney's version of SNL if they really want to go that route, and I think that would just be a lot of fun. overall, like I said, I really enjoy it. But those are my thoughts, so let me know yours down in the comments below. Have you watched the new Muppet Show? If you haven't, it is available on Disney Plus. Feel free to check it out there. But of course, if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was it everything you were hoping for? I know it was, for the most part, everything I was hoping for, so very happy about that. While you're down there, consider hitting that like and subscribing for us, as most of you who watch our channel are not subscribed. So if you want to stay up to date on movies and shows that we review here on the channel from a Christian perspective, if you want to stay up to date on those, consider hitting that subscribe button. There are a few video recommendations over here that YouTube is suggesting to you. Honestly, I have no idea what they've picked here. Hope they did a good job there for you, and we'll see you all in the next one.